It's the high school game of the week on 23 ABC, Friday Night Live. Brought to you by Kern Schools Federal Credit Union, the biggest little credit union in town.
Welcome to Friday Night Live. I'm Casey Kiernan, joined here, you might notice, by Gerald Perucci. He's the head coach of the Bakersfield Christian High School Eagles. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Hey, no, thank you.
They just wrapped up a huge win over Wasco, South Dakota League win 47-20. Now, we're doing this show a little bit backwards. Normally, we would come out, show you guys the highlights, then break them down with the interview with the coach. But we're going to do it a little backwards today. We're having some technical difficulties. So as I said, 47-20. Coach, what a win for you guys. I was here with you during the week, and you had some motivational things to say to your team. You said, no one expects us to do this, and if you do, it will really, really make a mark because no one's expecting us to do this. What did you tell your guys after such a big win?
You know, I think as a coach, when you got young men and they I think they kind of start figuring it out. You really got to keep them in the right frame of mind. I just told them, I said, you know, when they execute their game plan the way we draw it up, they're a really good football team, and they need to start believing it. And but the first and foremost thing that we always say is stay humble and stay hungry. And I think our kids are starting to figure it out. And I'm just really, really happy for my seniors who, you know, senior night and get to go out and something that we haven't beat them in 5 years, and for them, and then last year in the Valley Championship game. So it was really big for my seniors, and you know, to realize that, hey, we still got a long way to go.
You guys still have a long way to go. And you mentioned your seniors. Hayden Cookta. Now, we did a little story on him earlier, and thanks again for letting us tell that story. It was a really, really good one. He was so huge. I was looking, because I haven't been to many of your games, and we did this story on Hayden. So I was looking out to see, you know, how he would perform. He was so good in the first quarter. The big third down conversion with the bobbled pass, which we'll see here in a minute. And then he made a huge stop on Isaiah Sharp after the interception. Talk about Hayden and your other seniors' performance tonight.
You know, I mean, there are only 7 of them. And when I get them pointed in the right direction, they're really good. And they all know their role. I think that's probably pretty important for them, is that they understand what they have to do for the team. I'm just really proud of them, because this is kind of a culmination of a lot of hard work in the weight room. And it's not like no other team works out in the weight room, but this is something new for us at Bakersfield Christian, and for them to actually start seeing the fruits of their labor, I'm just really happy. And for Hayden, you know, Hayden, I kind of, we always talk, he's just a soldier. He doesn't really like being in the spotlight all that much. He doesn't really like being where he's looked up upon. He just likes doing his job, and I think that's what makes him so admirable as a person, is that he doesn't require accolades. He doesn't require being picked out in a crowd. He just likes going out and playing football with his friends and doing what he does. And that kind of culminates that whole senior class.
Senior class had a big night tonight. One guy who isn't a senior, a junior, Brandon Jones. I mean, we got to talk about him. The long ball, obviously a big part of your game plan usually. I mean, it really, really worked. I guess in the first quarter you had a couple that didn't quite connect, but once they did start to connect, they just didn't stop. Can you talk about the passing game of Brandon Jones?
Well, you know, we knew going in that we're going to get our shots going deep, and we really felt like earlier in the season that we really haven't connected the way that we wanted to on those, and I think it was prevalent in the first couple. We missed opportunities. But we worked it a lot this week, and we, you know, telling Brandon, hey, it's 1, 2, 3, and then just put it out, and let the guy. It doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be on a line. Just put it out and let your receivers run to it. And you know, he threw with a lot of confidence. And I think the biggest group of guys that you know, Brandon had to put it out, and the receivers had to catch. But our offensive line protected their butts off tonight, and you know, kept a very good active front from Wasco off of Brandon so he could make those throws. And I have to give, my offensive line did a heck of a job with that, and it allowed Brandon to step up in the pocket and make some throws later on down in the game to be successful. So.
Offensive line had a great game. Brandon Jones had a great game. Total team effort, and the Eagles find themselves atop the South Sequoia League. A bit of a revenge game against Wasco, as I said, 47-20, your final. All right, when we come back on Friday Night Live, we'll be back here. Coach Perucci's not going anywhere. Hopefully we'll have those highlights for you on the other side of this break. It's Friday Night Live from Bakersfield Christian High. We'll be back.
Friday Night Live, brought to you by Kern Schools Federal Credit Union, the biggest little credit union in town.
One thing about living in Kern County is all the great rivalries. Garson,
Hatchville,
Centennial,
Liberty,
Highland,
Foothill,
West,
BCHS.
and despite all our great rivalries, there are some things we can all agree on. Like official doctor's notes, where excused absences are always folded in half. And no matter who we root for, Kern Schools is the #1 financial institution in all of Kern County. Kern Schools, the biggest little credit union in town.
It's fun to mix it up with Ashley Furniture Home Store's The Works 14-piece room package event. Mix and match 14 pieces to create your complete living room. 14 pieces starting at just $8.99. Thousands of room combinations. Design your bedroom the same way. Mix and match 14 pieces starting at only $8.99. Personalize your own look or let us do the work for you with items customized by our designers at Ashley Furniture Home Store in Fresno and Bakersfield.
The Bakersfield Heart Hospital is Kern County's leader in cardiovascular care. Join us for the Medical Minute to learn how we are educating women about heart disease, the #1 killer in the U.S. To learn more, watch the Bakersfield Heart Hospital's Medical Minute every Thursday during Good Morning America.
It's back, the sale you crave. Marie Callender's Whole Pie to Go sale for just $7.99. For 65 years, Marie's has been making legendary pies fresh daily from original recipes like dreamy banana cream, luscious lemon meringue, and more of your favorites for only $7.99. Only at Marie Callender's. And for a delicious meal, try Marie's Perfect Pie Trio. Enjoy chicken pot pie or shepherd's pie, a Caesar salad, plus a slice of pie, starting at $9.99.
Weather and traffic together every 10 minutes with Elena Rusk on 23 ABC News from 4:30 to 7.
23 ABC News. We cover Kern County's weather.
Right this minute, videos first.
A ghost town stuck in time. So what's it like to live here?
Actually, it's like a time machine.
Do you have any ghost stories? Next, right this minute.
Monday at 11:30 on 23 ABC.
All right, we're back here on Friday Night Live. I'm Casey Kiernan, still joined by Coach Joe Perucci. On the other side of a 47-20 win over Wasco, must have felt pretty good, Coach. Have you had any wins in your coaching career? I know you've been coaching for a long time that felt quite like this one.
You know, I think wherever you're at, you kind of have your big games and everything else. But it's been a long time since I've been in a game where I think it meant so much to a school. And for us, a school of 400 kids to go against a school of 1,800 and do what we did tonight, I think it was really good. I mean, the only thing that would have made it better for me was to have my girls here, and they weren't able to come tonight, and I missed them. But it was a great night, and the school. I'm just really happy for the program and the school and the kids. That's good stuff.
And the kids. You're a local guy yourself. Did you say you went to Taft or Arvin?
I went to Shafter.
Oops.
I was a general.
Still in the South Sequoia League. So you went to Shafter, you're a general, and then you went off to UNLV.
Yes, sir.
Did you always know that you wanted to be a high school coach?
You know what? I had some guys in my life pretty early on when I was in high school that I kind of said, you know what, I want to do that. And I kind of shelved it when I went on to college. Learned the game. I think that's one of the things that I always tried to do when I was a player. I just didn't learn my position. I learned a lot of different positions.
What was your position?
I was an offensive lineman. I was a guard.
Okay.
And that was kind of what drove me. I went right into coaching high school right out of college, and started coaching for a high school there in Las Vegas. And I was there for 9 years and had a really good time. Learned a lot about football, and then I was lucky enough to get the head coaching job at East High. Come back home.
And weren't you the offensive coordinator here at BCHS before that?
Yeah, I got hired on when I was let go at East. I got hired on by Doug Barnett here as the offensive coordinator, and And that was an interesting move for me because when I was looking for a place to go, I really wanted to find somebody that I could learn from. And I was always impressed with how Doug ran a program, not only the way he did football-wise, but in a city and everything else, how he's able to put God first in everything that they do. And I really learned a lot from him. And then when he retired, I was lucky enough to get the head job, and last year was my first year. This is my second year.
Did you have did you have any experience with Derek Carr at all?
The only experience I have from Derek is I got to meet him last year, and he's such a good kid. He comes back and gives time back to the program. The Valley Championship game, he came and talked to the kids before the game. And at halftime, and this summer him and his brother David and a few other guys came out and invited my kids to come out and throw the football with them, and so my receivers are catching routes from David Carr and Derek Carr, and it's just they're really just a really good family. That whole family's really good, and they give back to the school as much as they can.
Now it seems kind of ironic that you have your own mercurial passer in Brandon Jones. Do you see any of maybe Derek? Obviously, Derek used to throw touchdowns on this field as well. Do you see any of Derek in Brandon at all?
You know what? There's two things that I think make Derek, and now, I mean, Derek's a phenomenal quarterback, and Brandon has a long way if he ever wants to get there. But there's two things that I think make Brandon that I can make a comparison to. Brandon is a true student of the game, and he works every week by watching film and everything else, and he does that. And the other thing is Derek is very prominent about his faith, and so is Brandon. So those two things can take you a long way.
They can take you a long way. Well, we've come a long way here on this interview, a lot longer than the normal coaches interview. I can assure you, we'll be right back on Friday Night Live. Maybe we'll have highlights. I know we'll have scores from around Kern County. Stay with us.
You're watching KERO 23 ABC in Bakersfield. Friday Night Live, brought to you by Kern Schools Federal Credit Union, the biggest little credit union in town.